Sweet, beautiful soul. Welcome back. Today, we are covering an incredibly important topic. And this is something that no doctor is going to tell you. And it is absolutely a non-negotiable when it comes to healing and becoming the best, vibrant, most healthy, and truly fulfilled version of yourself. That is what we are diving into today. And this is so near and dear to my heart. And I see this time and time again when clients come to me saying that they're having and experiencing anything in the body, whether it is chronic pain, whether it is dis-ease, whether it is some type of autoimmune condition, cancer, weight gain, weight loss, like all of these things that we have as a society come up with many explanations for, many names for, many types of diagnoses, and and then for all of these types of names and diagnoses, there is a corresponding pill to quote remedy it. And this is really the system that we are living in. Is you go to a doctor, you spend 15 minutes with them, and their job is to give you what the name of what you are going through is, and here is a pill to quote treat it. Now you're here because you know that there is a different way. You know and feel and sense that there is a way to discover and really heal from the roots, because this is not root cause healing. This is not how we really truly heal the body. Because if we suppress anything, it is going to have to speak louder, and most likely we will begin to get messages in other aspects and facets of our life. And that is always really fun when then all of a sudden our relationships start to go awful, and the money and our business and our friendships. And we're like, what's happening? Why are all these things going? Oh, it's because we didn't listen to the signs. So I'm going to save you so much time, so much, oh my gosh, exhaustion and fatigue and searching. Because here's the thing, I know for myself, I was searching for years. Years. I was searching for this magical solution. And I really think that this is part of the journey, part of the initiation, so to say, for some people. And it was the path that my soul chose. If you're into human design, being a 3/5, my soul loves to experience and experiment and to try everything. And then I finally find the solution. And then here we are. We get to chat about it. I get to share all of the keys, all of the things that will save you days, months, weeks, years, and decades on your journey. So it's really important. And, of course, there is growth to be had in experimenting and trying and trial and error. But wouldn't you just want to have the solution, have the knowing what to do, have the, okay, like my body is telling me this. Okay, here's exactly what I need to do then to remedy this. That's what we're going to be diving into. Because ultimately, though, this really begins far before we begin to experience symptoms in the body. Here's what's going to transpire. Your body is going to begin to communicate with you via a trip. You stub your toe. That's the first sign of like, oh, I'm not paying attention. Something's a bit off. But we keep going, and then all of a sudden the next time we fall. And so we go, okay, like get back up. I'm gonna keep going. And then the next time we fall and break something, we're like, okay, no, like I must just be clumsy. I'm just gonna get back up and keep going. And then the next time we fall and it's like our whole body, right? And so, well, this is the analogy for what happens with the body. Is we get a whisper, and then we get a nudge, And then finally, the body has to yell at us. And when I say this begins much earlier on, I mean that in the sense of as children, well, two ways in the sense is as children, we're really not taught how to communicate and work with these bodies. We simply are not taught these are what the messages mean. This is what your body is communicating with you and how energetics work. When we understand energetics, life becomes miraculous and amazing. But we're taught history and algebra and math and science, which were my favorite. They weren't. And I believe if we could teach our children these things like human design, gene keys, how energy works, how creation works, how to work with our field, how to understand and see, everyone would be very psychic, everyone would be doing what they love, everyone would be living a life. There would still be challenges, of course, because this is what this earth realm is about. It is about challenges, overcoming them, and becoming greater and learning and expanding in the process. And then the second part of what I mean of this starts in childhood is a lot of the things that your body is telling you are indeed from childhood. I know we love to hear this, but, and here's the thing, this doesn't always mean we have to go back and dig it all up and talk about it for how, especially do not talk about it for days and days and days. If that would feel supportive to feel heard and seen for a little bit, that's good, that's okay, but sometimes it begins to become a self-fulfilling prophecy of I see people who get stuck in the story and they continue to talk about it. And the more that you talk about it, the more you ingrain it into your body. So let it out, talk about what happened, and then be done with it. We need to close that door. We need to work on now the energetics of it. Okay. And this is where I think traditional talk therapy is just, again, there's a time and a place for talking and processing. And then we get to a threshold where it's no longer, it's like the tipping point. It's like the scale of like it's supportive, it's supportive, it's supportive, and then it no longer supportive. Like we're just ingraining the pattern into our being, into our body, into our field, and we're going to continue to attract things in. So what oftentimes happens though is something will take place in childhood. For example, I have a sweet friend who just became a mom, and we were having this conversation, and she was saying like, we've been thinking like, she's like, I only want one. I only want one child. And while I want her to be like happy and all of this stuff and to have siblings to play with and all of these things, she's like, but I only want one. And I was like, you know what? It's really fascinating because a lot of times when clients are feeling, are experiencing something, as adults, a lot of times it comes back to not receiving enough attention as a child, because as children, we don't understand that your sister or brother came into the world and this this wasn't to take away mom and dad. This like that mom and dad only have so much capacity and so much energy and so much attention to give, and that a new baby requires more attention. And as kids, like the mind is not matured enough to know this. And so later on in life, adults will often experience a lot of, not a lot of, but it can present as health issues later on if a child didn't feel loved. And here's the thing, you could come from a wonderful, loving family and still not feel loved. This is your own experience. And so I get a lot of these people of like, no, my childhood was great. So there's obviously like nothing that we need to work on from my childhood. And again, I'm not saying we need to like dig everything up, but it's really important to recognize that your experience is your experience. That's the most important part of your childhood, is how you perceived it and your experience. I've also seen this all the time where siblings have completely different experiences of their childhood. For example, what I know someone who she believes that she even though her parents got divorced, she believes that she had a very loving and supportive, and just she really was like, my parents always were doing what they could with what they had. They loved us so much, and like it was better that they got divorced because then they both found someone else that they loved even more. And that's her view and that's her perspective. Her brother, on the other hand, says, I came from a broken family. There were lies, there were all of these things going on. I didn't feel loved. So this is why I say, like, it's about our perception, and it's about what our soul came here to experience and ultimately overcome and create. So I bring all of this up because what you're experiencing in this now moment, there is most likely a seed that was planted in childhood. And so again, we don't always, this is why it's really helpful to work with someone who can have intuition to look in and see what's going on, because we don't always need to go dig it up. We really don't. And when we can see what the root is, it becomes really easy to shift the energy simply in the now. And we can rewrite things, we can recode things, we can shift the energy that's in your field so that you're no longer radiating out and attracting in whatever it is, the health, the dis-ease, because ultimately health and dis-ease and imbalances in the body, this means that there is an energy in your field. There's an energy in your field that is continuing to attract this in. There's a message that your soul is communicating to you via your body that's continuing to track this in. So, okay, now that we have all of this backstory, now that we're on the same page of how these things begin to develop and how these things come to fruition in the body, I need to share with you, and we need to get to, what's the thing? Like, what is the thing that doctors will never tell you? Because here's the thing. We know nutrition is important. What you eat, what you drink, even what you wear, the air you breathe, getting exercise, connecting with nature, having a fulfilling relationships, friendships. Once we get into that, your doctor's not going to tell you that. We know that's managing stress. But what is the thing that I see time and time and again that a doctor will never tell you? And that is living your soul's aligned path. Fulfilling what your soul came here to do. Doing a vocation, a career, a purpose that lights you up, that gives you life. This is a non-negotiable for a healthy body. You can only get so far with the biohacks, with the healthy diet, with the clean eating, with all of the health tools, with the purifiers and all of these things. And sauna and yoga and doing all of these things. They're amazing. Don't get me wrong. Go to nature, eat healthy food, drink clean water. Please do these things. And if you are neglecting or not living yet in alignment with what your soul intended to come into this experience, this body, this perfect body that your soul chose, if you are not living in alignment with what it came here to live out, the body will never fully heal. This is such an important thing that we're missing the mark on. We're missing the mark on that. Bodies are actually very resilient. It's pretty incredible that we can actually, it kind of blows me away sometimes when I see what people eat and that they're functioning and that they're walking and breathing and alive, that I would not be thriving eating the standard American diet. But I'm much more sensitive. But these bodies are incredible because if we need to, these bodies can turn those toxins and literally fuel us. That is unbelievable that we can eat these wild toxins and sustain life. Now, we're getting to a tipping point where we're seeing that that is very much not going to be the case, and that there's absolutely things that need to change. And that if we want to be healthy and thrive and live out our soul mission, we have to have healthy food. We have to have healthy input into the body, and healthy input in the form of physical nourishment, energetic nourishment, what we're feeding our mind, and also in relationships and all of that as well. But if you're sitting in a cubicle, or even not even a cubicle, you could just be working from home, but you are doing something. You are spending however 8 hours a day working for something that you don't love, working for someone that you don't love, doing work that you don't love, or you feel that what you are doing is not really in alignment. There's only so much healing that can take place in the body. You could, again, have all of the biohacks, all of the things. And I don't want, I feel like also when I say these types of things, people begin to put a lot of pressure on, like, what's my thing? Like, which I need to find my purpose. There's so much more to this conversation. And so this is why working with someone who can help us, who can help you see like the energetics of like, it's so much more important to just be doing the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step. Because ultimately, your purpose can be a variety of things. Your purpose could be one thing. For some people, it is really doing one thing for their lives. And for others, like, your purpose is going to evolve and shift. And so maybe where you have been, not maybe, absolutely, definitely where you have been has been absolutely perfect. It has been the training ground. It has been exactly what your soul called forth to prepare you for living your purpose. So remember this, nothing is wasted time. Nothing is, it's never too late. It's never like, oh, like I wish I would have done this sooner and earlier and known this a year ago and 10 years ago. No, it's all perfect. It's all been preparing you. Please trust and know this, that every single thing is for a reason. Everything in your life has been preparing you, cultivating you, creating you, nurturing you, and priming you to become that vision and version of you that your soul wanted, chose, and knew it could become in this lifetime. So this is when the body begins to talk to us in, we'll call it unfavorable ways, when it says, okay, I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm done with living here, doing what I don't like, giving my time and energy simply in exchange for money. But the money is not me living in alignment with my path. It's not me living in alignment with what my soul came here to do. I'm not doing things that align me with what my soul came here to do. And so the body will talk to us. And so we can eat healthy and we can drink healthy. And again, please do these things. But it's not the end all be all. It's not the end all be all. We all know these people who are, and there's, again, this is why it's really important, and I'm going to say this over and over again, to either develop your intuition or work with someone who can help you and guide you and reflect to you what is taking place in your field, what your soul is trying to communicate to you. Like, I'm basically just the translator for your soul and your higher self. And I tell you the messages, and I help you see the messages, and then I help you integrate the messages to shift everything in your life and become the vision and version of you that you desire and wanted to become. And when we can do this, our life transforms. Our life opens up. We now, again, the next step and the next step and the next step. It's not just like, boom, I'm doing it, I'm here, like I arrived. It's like, oh, I had the realization. I mean, there are a few cases, of course, but it's very rarely just like, oh, my purpose, I'm going to do this now, and now my body is healed and I'm living the life I love. It's gonna take a little bit of time, but if you're fully in it for what your soul came here to do, which I know you are, then you will have all the patience. I know it can be tough. I know I have the impatience gene too. I get it. But this is how we speed up the process through working with our intuition, with working with someone to help us speed up the process so that we can condense the time that it takes to heal the body. We can condense the time that it takes to be living our soul path, living in alignment and doing what we love. And we can condense the time that it takes to really be on this trajectory and feel it and sense it and know it in our being and in our body. And then our body communicates this to us. Our body heals as a byproduct. One of the biggest things that we really need to begin to know as a society is nothing heals us. Nothing heals us. What things do is they put and set the stage, they set the frequency that the body can heal itself. A person will hold the frequency and so that you can heal yourself. A pill can even set, if it's the right one, I would say like an energetic, homeopathy, a really good vitamin, mineral, if you're deficient, can set the frequency so that your body heals itself. A nutritious meal can set the frequency so that your body heals itself. A nourishing conversation can set the frequency so that your body heals itself. Living in alignment with what your soul came here to do will set the frequency so that your body can heal itself. And in turn, your body becomes more resilient. You can handle the stressors in a more easeful way. In a more easeful way. I'm not ever one of those proponents of just like you could eat junk food and it doesn't matter. Some people really maybe are that skilled to neutralize all of the toxins, but I believe eating clean is an act of self-love. It really is. And I've gotten to a place like, actually, I've been at this place for quite some time that I really have zero desire to eat unhealthy. Really zero. Truly zero. Sure, I eat healthy treats, but they're always going to be made with good ingredients. And I still see that as an act of self-love. And the most important thing though is that our bodies are resilient. Our bodies are designed to heal. And so why don't they? We have to look at the energetic and the physical. So yes, of course, you probably know much of the physical. You know what foods are healthy and what foods are not. You know to drink clean water. You know to get your air purifier and water purifier. And if you don't have those, see my links below. And you know to take care of this vessel. You know to get exercise and go in nature. And so if you haven't come to a place where you feel like you are living your soul's path, this is where I highly suggest you nurture and devote your energy and time to this, whether it is with myself or with someone else. Doing this devotion to yourself will pay back tenfold. Doing this devotion to your soul's path will pay back 10,000-fold for this lifetime and lifetimes to come and even past. This is how we heal generational trauma. This is how we heal our lineage. This is how we become the vision and version that we know we are destined to become. And anything that feels unaligned and like it is not serving and supporting us is simply, it's like the buffers on the side of the road that are like trying to move you in the direction that your soul came here to move. Okay, so if and when you are ready to take this leap, reach out, send me a message, send me a DM. Let's tune in and see what would be the best soul aligned path for you, your body, and your soul. This is what I offer to help support you in your journey, to see whether it is me, whether it is someone else, whether it is another modality, to help you heal, to help you live in alignment with your truth. And if you just need a little boost, hop in the miracle frequency. This is where we cultivate the energetics of living a soul aligned life every moment of every day, not just when everything's really good, but every moment of every day. Even when things are challenging, you still know how to cultivate and create, see the signs, pull forth the signs and guidance that you need for each and every moment. All of that is in the miracle frequency and so much more. There's so many bonuses. I continue to add bonuses. So all of the links for everything will be below. And with that, I'm just sending you all infinite love and light.